Hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. Psychic Society, Renee Massey, Valkyrie Mystic here. It has been a very long time, I feel like, since I have been live in this group. I apologize for my delay. I had a phone call come in from my husband right before I went live, and he cut his hand really bad at work today on a job. So I'm not sure if I have to take him to the emergency room or not. He's going to come home really quick so we can take a look at it. You know, it's a day in the life, I tell you. And my little one is homesick today because she came home early yesterday with a headache and a sore throat, and half of her class has strep. So this is my shirt today. Do you like it? This is what I've picked because this is what it feels like. But I have to tell you, this year has been off to a really amazing start. And I think one of the big things is that I don't let these things get in the way of my progress, of my success, of my moving forward in life stuff. You know, hi, Miss Shelley. Hi, Amy. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I want, and you know what? Maybe this had to happen today so that I could bring this to everybody's attention. Because I think a lot of times we think that if we are moving towards growth and development and expansion, then things should be easy. Because that's the way we think about it in our mind. Like, well, if I'm hitting the mark and if I'm hitting the mark and I'm doing the thing that I really want to be doing, then this would feel really good. It will feel aligned. It will feel easy. So this is one of those silly little traps that we get stuck in, is that no, that's actually not true at all. If you are stretching, it's going to be uncomfortable. And the stretching is what leads to the growth. So that's why I was doing stuff this morning. I was doing some cleaning, some disinfecting around my house. I'm also doing a little bit of meal prepping because I'm home with Caden today. So I was like, let's get ahead of things. Let's be productive. Let's take care of stuff. And I started thinking about, just how it feels sometimes to be scattered. And how it feels sometimes to be spread out a little thin. How it feels sometimes to feel like you're juggling a lot of different things at once, And then we beat ourselves up and we're hard on ourselves because maybe we didn't do as well as we wanted to, and it wasn't as easy as we thought it was going to be, and it didn't come together like we thought it should have. And that's where, this is the big stuff that I'm doing, is I'm teaching my clients right now how to really be able to look and decipher and be able to pick these things apart and determine what is really happening right now. Because the thing is that your brain is always going to tell you a story. The brain is always going to tell you a story, and the story is about something that already happened in the past. So chances are the story that you're reflecting on isn't a good story, because what is the likelihood that you would reflect on a really positive story? What is the likelihood that you would have something really great happen for you today and you would be like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of when that other really incredible, amazing thing showed up for me when I really needed it, and this moment of time where I was struggling and I was faced with all of these challenges, and and all of a sudden this thing just magically showed up for me. I was ready to receive it. I was able to receive it, and it showed up and it changed everything. I bet you don't really do that very often, do you? I bet most people don't really spend a lot of time doing that. And that's part of the problem, is that you have equated your growth for something that you felt was going to feel really, really good, and that it would feel very, very aligned, right? Because alignment is something that we strive for. We want that balance. We want that cohesiveness. We want the harmony. We want to feel that everything is blending and jiving together, so that way we can trust that we're moving it in the right direction. And isn't that really what it comes down to, is that when you are feeling different types of discomfort, it triggers a feeling of, I can't trust. Because in other times where you felt discomfort, you probably realized that there was a situation you were dealing with where your trust was being compromised. Doesn't that land? Doesn't that hit hard? You know what I mean? That hits me hard. If it's not hitting you hard, I don't know what you're doing. Because this is This is life. I do believe in reincarnation, so I do believe in the fact that you will have many opportunities to do this. But I also believe in the idea, in the motivation that we want to get it right, and we want to try to eliminate as many blocks, limitations along the way. And so, if you understand how energy works, then you will understand, and emotions and thoughts and your mind and all of these things. Hi, Donna, welcome. So glad to see you here today. But what we're doing is we're moving a lot of emotions. We're moving a lot of thoughts. We're moving a lot of different feelings in and out of our body. And the way that we connect with those emotions, most people are completely unclear about that. They just feel it and they think to themselves, this is bad. This is no good. You know, hi, Heather, welcome. Hello, Jamie, welcome. But this is typically how we live our lives, is like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. I'm going to back away from this. Ooh, this doesn't feel wonderful and amazing. It feels hard. It feels like I have to work at this. It feels like I have to try a little bit. It feels like I have to try a lot of it. It feels like if I keep doing this at this level, I don't think it's going to work. That if I keep pushing, it's not going to work. There's so many different dynamics that I want to get into regarding all of this, because it's not just one simple thing. And I did it. I did a huge, massive deep dive in Synergy. And Synergy is done now. Synergy is done. 6 amazing modules that we did. Oh my gosh. I have done so much, and it's only the second month, the beginning of the second month of the year. I finished Mediumship Development Circle. I started and finished Synergy. We did the workshop of Alchemy. I have the Spirit Guide Communication class this upcoming Saturday from 12 to 2, possibly to 3, depending on what we dive into. You know, what I do changes people's lives. What I bring to the table is going to change your life if you're ready for it. But you cannot have growth without discomfort. You can't. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen, because we're stretching into different quantum fields. Okay, and in jumping into different quantum fields means that you have to stretch a part of yourself that hasn't probably been stretched before. You ever try a workout that you used to do years ago? I know that some of you have done this. I have done this. Have you ever gone back to a workout that you used to do? Like maybe it was a spin class, maybe it was a conditioning class, maybe it was a yoga class, maybe it was just running or power walking or biking or roller skating or swimming. But did you ever like do that before and you were really good at it? You got to a place where you were totally kick-ass. You were fast, you had endurance, you had stamina. The performance was great. You were proud of yourself. You could stretch your muscles. You were limber, you were flexible. You were able to maybe run for a certain amount of time without feeling out of breath. You stretched yourself. You didn't all of a sudden just wake up one day and start doing that, by the way. You didn't all of a sudden just realize that you were like, you know, a really amazing swimmer. People who are getting ready to go to the Olympics right now, do you think that they didn't train to get to where they are? Do you think that they didn't have to master something, which is usually themselves? It's not necessarily mastering the art of something. I can teach anybody how to do mediumship. I can teach anybody how to become, to really tap into their psychic abilities, to tap into energy, to work with energy, manipulate energy, use energy for healing, use energy for spell work. I can do a lot of things. I have been doing this for 25 years. But one of the things that I realized that most people really need to do is the deeper inner work, which is why this is what I'm also focusing on for everybody. Is I'm here to help you expand in your gifts. I'm here to help you recognize that you do have abilities, you do have power, you do have different ways that you can expand, and you can get paid for it. Okay? 6 years ago, I was not getting paid to do the things that I'm getting paid to do now, and I have a 6-figure business, you know? So I'm saying that like things can change. Things can actually become really, really great, but we have to start by taking ownership. Taking ownership is key to your development. And that means taking responsibility for the highs and the lows. Being accountable for the energy that you bring, for what you say, for what you do, for how you say it, how you do it. The tone, the energy that has come into this situation. So what happens is that we want growth. I don't know anybody that, like, actually that's not true. I do know people that don't want growth. And that's fine. They've reached a place in their life where they're like, I'm content. I'm good. I don't need any more. I'm good, you know? And that's fine. I'm not here to help the people that are like, I'm good. And I'm like, no, I'm sure you want more. No, I'm sure it could be better. It could be, but that's not what I'm going to say to them. I'm going to say, congratulations. I'm so very happy for you. And I'm going to mean that from my heart, because I know the kind of work that it takes to get to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm good. And are they underselling themselves? Are they playing it small? Maybe, but it's not my job to tell them what to do with that if they haven't asked me. If somebody says I'm good in my relationship, I'm not going to try to change your relationship. If somebody says I'm great with my spiritual path and my development, I'm not going to come in and try to make anything different happen there. It's not my place to do that. I am here to offer guidance, lessons, teaching, education, knowledge, wisdom, technique, methods, healing, growth, development, expansion. I am here to up-level you in a very, very big way. But you have to be ready to do that work. So if you are comfortable and you're happy to be where you are right now, then that's okay. But it's a very different thing to say that I am growing and I am comfortable with my growth. Because growth is not comfortable. You're going to feel yourself stretch. You're going to feel yourself be pulled in different directions. You're going to feel yourself scattered. What happens in these situations is we are being called to hold energy for the duality of what is in our life. To hold the energy for duality. So what that means, I'm going to give you a really good example of that. Right before I hopped on this call, okay, I had made some macaroni and cheese for my little girl. Okay, she's congested. She's got a sore throat. She has a headache. She doesn't really have a temperature, so that's good. It's not, I don't think it's the flu. I had to get that done. I had to make sure she was all set so I could come on live. Right before I was about to do that, my husband called and he said, oh my God, like, Renee, I cut my hand. I cut my hand really, really bad. What'd you cut your hand with? A razor knife. Oh my God, are you okay? I don't know. Like, it won't stop bleeding. I don't know if I should come home. I don't know if I should go to the emergency room or an urgent care, you know? So I said, well, I have a call about to start right now, but keep it wrapped really, really tightly, you know, try to create a little tourniquet for it and keep it elevated above your heart. That's what I could do. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock right now. I have to go. But I'm not going to jump off the phone with my husband who's bleeding, you know, because, I got to be here for live, 12 o'clock. So I just told him, I said, do those things. You got this. I got you. We will figure it out. And if you feel like, you know, you really need to go to the urgent care, go to the urgent care. But if you feel like you want to come home and I'll take a look at it, because he, for some reason, thinks I'm a doctor, for some reason, I'll take a look at it. You know, it's the whole healer thing, I think. It makes him feel safe. But the point is that the duality is that not everything is coming up roses today, right? Not everything is like, oh, wow, I'm just breathing right through. Oh, everything is just lining up perfectly. That's not necessarily what we're going for. But it is, because we're human. It's not going to happen. Good luck trying. But it's the difference between being like, I can still hold space for having an amazing day. I can still hold space for having amazing opportunities that want to come into my life today. I can still hold space for amazing clients that are going to message me later and be like, how can I work with you? What is that class you were talking about? What is this thing that we can do together? I would love for you to help me, you know, continue growing my business. I would love for you to help me do more inner child work and help me heal so I can grow. I would love for you to help me continue growing my psychic and mediumship gifts, because I really feel like I have something here and I want to be able to help other people. That this thing that's going on with my day today, daughter sick, husband wounded, you know, the other kids at school, she's so far, I think she's fine. But I'm not going to let these things take control of my day. That's a huge problem, is that in order for you to have growth, you have to start thinking differently. You have to start seeing things differently, and you have to adjust to the changing climate of your life, because the change is the sign of the growth. Okay, when you have predictable problems that just keep showing up and predictable solutions that just keep showing up, you might be duped into thinking that that's growth. You solved your own problem that you made yourself because you self-sabotaged a situation because you're really craving a lot to stretch in this direction, but you're not willing to stretch yourself, so you're going to create a problem that you know you can solve. How does that land? You create a problem that you know you can solve so that you feel like you've done something good. And then you think that you're benefiting from it. It is a mind trap, and it is a loop that continues to go around in circles over and over and over again. It's a merry-go-round, and it's like you have to jump off of the merry-go-round, and I hate to say it, but it's going to be uncomfortable. But that's the only way that you're going to be able to develop yourself. That's the only way that you're going to discover more about your personal power. It's the only way that you're going to live an authentic life. It's the only way that you're going to be able to embrace ownership and pure, raw, freaking truth about who you are and what you came here to do. If you are not interested in any of these things, you can leave this group now. That's the kind of day I'm having. No, it just means that, like, if you're not here to stretch, to grow, to learn, then this isn't for you. And anything like that, if you don't want to be in that space, then this probably isn't the group for you. You know what I mean? And it would just weigh down the rest of the energy of the group. And that is something that I just don't align with. So it's like, I want you to feel ready. I want you to feel ready for things to get interesting, because that's what happens when you step into my world. Things are going to get very interesting for you in your life, in your world. And it's going to push you to take a look at some of the things that aren't working so well. It's going to take you actually looking at yourself in the mirror and taking complete ownership of what you are actually doing, and not to focus on what other people are doing and how their process is impeding your process, but how you are going to overcome other people's processes, because you have a destiny and a fate, and you have a drive and a passion and a relentless nature that is going to propel you forward no matter what. That's the difference. Is like, if you get pushback and you're like, well, I'm getting pushback. Yeah, you are. Because that's what happens in life. You're going to get pushback. Do you think that the universe is just going to deliver you all of your desires, all of your wants, hopes, and dreams, when you aren't even doing what the regular basic stuff is now to your absolute best? If you are trying just hard enough not to fail, then that is also a problem. See, these are the different things about human dynamics, about human nature, about how we think, how we connect with information, how we use that information to help ourselves. Okay? And the thing is that most people really don't know how to help themselves. They don't. There's a reason why I have a coach. There's a reason why all of my clients are working with me as their coach. I have 11 private clients right now. I'm taking on 2 more. 2 more. That is it. 2 more for either a 3, 6, or 12-month mentorship. Okay? To work with me to teach you how to do the really big things in your life that you are stumbling against. Okay? And in that process, your spiritual gifts are going to start opening up even more naturally. Because what's happening is that when you start making room in your life for you, magical things happen. It's not all just about pushing energy forward. It's also about knowing and trusting and learning when to stop and just pause. The action of non-action. I have done everything that I possibly can right now, and I feel good about that. I feel good that I've done everything that I possibly can for this to work for me. And now I'm going to trust. Now I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to step into trust. I'm going to allow something. I'm going to recognize that to all things in this universe, there is a rhythm, there is a flow, there is a timing. There are energetics at play here. There is energy that is working and moving, and it's most of it is happening behind the scenes. 95% of it is happening behind the scenes, and you don't even see it. And so when you think the thing isn't going to happen for you, you drop the ball, you lose the energy, it all unravels, and it was like literally 2 days from showing up at your doorstep, but you lost faith, you lost trust, you gave up. You gave up on the thing, but you actually gave up on yourself even more, because there was a part of you that actually believed that you weren't worthy or deserving of that thing to show up. And so what you decided to do was you decided to be right instead. You said, well, this isn't working. I knew it wasn't going to work. So this is the result, and now this is where I'm at. And then everything just, you let go of the energy, it unraveled, because you weren't able to hold the duality of this is also very possible while I'm navigating these challenges. This thing can show up and change everything while I'm navigating things that make me uncomfortable. That's the difference, okay? And this was a lot of what we talked about in Synergy, okay? Being able to hold space for different things, taking complete responsibility for who you are. That is so powerful. And I don't know if everybody understands the level of power that really represents, because it's life-changing. It is life-changing to live like that, to think like that. It changes how you breathe. It changes how you encounter literally everything in your life. It changes how you receive things. It changes how you're open to receive things. It changes how you interpret challenging situations. It changes how you see other people. It changes how you take care of yourself. And when you are going to change how you take care of yourself, can you imagine the ripple effect that has in your life? And the thing is that we live in this Amazon mindset that like, oh, well, it should happen tomorrow then, right? It's going to get delivered tomorrow. Why? Time isn't even real. It's not even real. So if you're going to talk about language of the universe, then I would imagine that it would be time to live a life of no time. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Because yes, you still have to show up. Everybody's going to, well, I have to live by my time. I have to. My clock's telling me things. My watch is telling me things. My little Apple Watch is going bloop, bloop, bloop. I have to listen to that. Well, yeah, I have to listen to that stuff too, but I can't live my life saying that it has to show up by the end of this week or I'm a failure. It has to show up by the end of February or I'm going to shut my business down because it's really just an indication that I'm a poor manifester and that I'm not actually destined for the growth that I desire in my life. That would be incorrect, is my point, is that you're trying to align with a time frame that the universe doesn't align with, because this is earth-based time that is made by man. And you cannot live in alignment with the universal forces if you are aligning with earth-based man-made shit. Straight lines, time, linear movement. It is all fake. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to give you this space to really think about everything that I've said. Okay? Because there is a very vast difference between comfort and growth. If you are very comfortable in your life and you are very content, you are happy, you are grateful, you are so in love with what you have been able to manifest, your relationships, your work, your finances, your wealth, your power, your authenticity, your truth, your magic, your gifts, everything. If you are really so very squeaky clean and very happy about all of those things, then I just want to say congratulations and I'm so happy for you. I really am. I know how hard it is to get there. And for those of you who are feeling like, I am hungry for more, I want more, I desire growth, I desire these things, I want change, I just don't know how to do it, I just don't know necessarily what the problem is, why I can't navigate some of these issues, these limitations in my mind, these thoughts that I have, they sabotage me and I try to redirect it and I can only take it so far and then I get stuck again. If that is you, message me. We have to talk. We have to talk about your future. We have to talk about your present. We have to talk about the past. We have to talk about how we can reshape things, restructure things, and move your life into the right place. Okay? The right place for you in the right timing. This is what I do. This is what my clients love me for. This is why I am mostly booked and why it takes me longer to get back to clients versus how long it took me to get back to clients 6 months ago. It's because my calendar is very busy and I have clients in classes that I am teaching almost all the time. Okay. So for those of you who would like to purchase Synergy, which is epic, off the hook, amazing, like knock your socks off for personal development, personal and professional development, message me, DM me, or put it in the comments. For those of you who would like to book with me or have questions about how you can work with me, DM me or put it in the comments. For those of you who would like to sign up for communicating with your spirit guides or spirit guide communication, I am doing a spirit guide communication class this Saturday from 12 to 2 Eastern time. I am very, very, very excited about this because I have noticed that this is one area that pretty much everybody's like, I want to know more about this. I'm hungry for this. I want to do this. I want to know. I want to understand. I want to connect. I want to communicate. I want to hear their wisdom. I want to be able to do all the things. Show up to this class. It's $88. If you have a Spiritual Platinum Pass membership, it is included. That means that you do not pay. You just get to slide right in. But for those of you who are interested in this and would like to join us on Saturday, it is via Zoom. It is via Zoom, so that means you are good, because sometimes I have these classes at the shop. So for those of you who are not local, obviously that wouldn't benefit you very much, but this is going to be completely online, virtual, so it doesn't matter where you live. You are in if you want it. So let us know what you are ready for. I'm very excited to connect with you. I hope that you recognize your ability to grow, to stretch, and just know that when things get uncomfortable, it is an indication that you are moving. Okay? I love you. Bye for now.